This conference will now be recorded.
Demonstration video to demonstrate use of the Kendall-Theil Robust Line program documented in U.S. Geological Survey Techniques and Methods Report TM4A7. This program and the related documentation was prepared by the U.S. Geological Survey in cooperation with the Federal Highway Administration, Office of Natural and Human Environment. This video, which is about 7 minutes long, demonstrates activation of the program and input file specification. Demonstrate use of the Kendall-Theil Robust Line software. To start the software, either click on a shortcut you have established on your desktop or navigate to the KTRLINE directory installed under the program files and activate the executable program file. The Kendall-Theil Robust Line software opens to the Input Data Specification form. This form is the initial program interface. This form provides information about the program and guides the user through the input data specification process. The form is designed to provide a linear progression to the necessary to define the input data, specify the output file name, and to begin the regression analysis. As such, most of the controls on the form are hidden when the program starts and are activated in a step-by-step process as the user progresses. Similarly, each control is locked once the user makes a selection. If a mistake is made in the process, the user may exit the program and restart the process with only a small investment in time. Let's start this demonstration by clicking the Open and Test Input file. When we click on this button, we start the input data specification process by activating the input file specification. When the input data file dialog box opens, we can navigate to our data directory and either select the file from the directory or enter the file name in the file name input box. In this case, we will select the file in this example directory. Click the Open File command button to complete the selection. Selecting the input file will activate the Save Output File dialog box. By default, it will open in the same directory as the input file, and the default output file is ktrl.datfile.txt. I usually select and modify the input file name to facilitate identification of paired input and output files. Once the input file name is selected, I click on the file name text box and modify the file name. I'll add the suffix ktout and click the Save button to proceed. As we go through the input process, the software provides feedback to the user. In this case, the program is reminding the user that the first input line will be read as the text header line. Once you read the message box, click the OK button to proceed. This message box reminds the user to identify the column headings that will be used on the graph and in the output file. Click the OK button to proceed. At this point, we can designate which column is the predictor or X data and which is the dependent or Y data by clicking the appropriate XY data. In this case, we will develop a water quality transport curve to predict sediment concentration from water discharge. Therefore, we will select the first column as the predictor variable. By default, the program assumes that the first line has column header information. If the first line has data, the user can indicate this with the appropriate radio button. In this case, the selection for header information. If numbers appear in the column definition text boxes, then the user would click the data radio button. If, however, text appears in these column definition text boxes, then clicking on data would cause an error when the data is read into the program. Once the input specifications are complete and correct, we can proceed. The program will filter and test the input file when the user clicks the Filter Input Data user clicks the Filter Input Data command button. If the input file format is correct, the Process Input Data button will appear. If not, the user will get an error message and the program will prompt the user to exit the program. The program will write a line-by-line error file to help the user identify input file format errors. If there are no problems, the user may proceed by clicking the Process Input Data command button. Once the Process Input Data button is selected, the program will read the data, set up arrays, and do the necessary calculations. If the data set is small, less than about 1,000 points, the Graph Data button will appear immediately. If the data set is larger, a status box will appear while the program processes the input data. The user must click the Graph Data command button to proceed to the interpretive graphing and model specification. Once the Kendall-Theil Interpretive Graphing and Model Specification form opens, we are ready for graphical interpretation of the data, the line, and the residuals. Please see the next software demo for information about this graphical non-parametric regression tool.